Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is the show, my people. Billies our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. It's the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role, get where you need to. Look and tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling is the show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is the show, my people. Billies our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. It's the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is the show, my people. Billies our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. It's the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role, get where you need to. Look and tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling is the show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is the show, my people. Billies our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. It's the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will feel happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Us work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice of opinion, not place. No calling. WB.
Good morning, Belize. Welcome to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, Wednesday morning, the 20th of May, 2025. I'm Mose Hyde, and as always, we give thanks for the ability to be here with you, and we are deeply pleased that you're starting the day with us. Creme Radio, XTV. Welcome to your morning home, Belize's premier morning conversation, the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, on this, again, Wednesday morning. And we are ready. We hope that you are as well, whether you are listening to Creme Radio, watching us on XTV, got us on your apps, on your devices, or social media streams, or it is you are getting us via simulcast coverage. We hope that this morning meets you with great health, high energy, vibrations positive, and a lot of space and flexibility in your morning routine that you could jump in when you're ready. Stay tuned all the time. No move. We love that. That's our preference. But right now, we are going to start with what we call the preliminaries, which means we get you up to date with the morning news from our news team. But before we get there, we'll find out if you can stay hot or when the rain will come. Dip on rain, watch now, because otherwise, you know how things go. So right now we turn to the experts in that, the National Meteorological Service, and we've got forecaster Catherine Cumberbatch to tell us what today looks like.
Good morning, Belize. Fair, warm, and mostly dry conditions prevail. The 24-hour forecast for Belize and her coastal waters calls for mostly sunny and hot conditions today, with high temperatures of 90 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast to 97 inland and 84 over the mountains. A heat alert is in effect, and therefore residents, especially those inlands, are advised to stay hydrated and avoid outdoor activities as much as possible, especially during the afternoon hours. Tonight, the skies will be partly cloudy with low temperatures of 83 degrees Fahrenheit along coastal areas to 76 over inland and 69 in the higher elevation. Showers, if any, will be isolated. The winds will blow from the east to southeast at 10 to 20 knots, and the sea state will be moderate. A high tide will occur at 8 minutes past 10 this morning, followed by a low at 5:51 in the evening. Another high will occur at 7 minutes past midnight and a low at 4:42 a.m. The sun rose at 5:17 this morning and will set at 6:22. The moon comes up at 6:35 a.m. and set at 8:28 tonight. The outlook for Thursday and Thursday night is for similar weather conditions to prevail. In the sargassum forecast, significant amounts of sargassum are expected to continue affecting the country during the next few days. And in the fire forecast, the risk for forest and brush fires will continue to be high over the next 24 hours as seasonable warm and mostly dry conditions prevail. And that's your morning forecast that was prepared here at the National Meteorological Service.
Informative, accurate, current information. Crem's newscast. Local, regional, and international news. Weather and sports.
Your morning news. Members of the Belize National Teachers Union were still voting yesterday on whether or not they would accept a counter proposal from government to their request of an 8.5% salary increase. After 9 p.m. Tuesday night, the union president announced the results with 1,532 numbers rejecting the government's proposal of a 3% salary increase starting October this year, and then an additional increment at the start of fiscal year 2026-2027. Only 438 members voted to accept the proposal. The membership had voted weeks ago to put in place 3 phases leading to full-blown strike action if the government did not grant their demands. The second phase is a two-day national shutdown on Tuesday afternoon before the results of the BNTU vote were known. We asked Prime Minister John Bisseno if they can afford a strike from the teachers at this time.
Well, I've not gotten any official response from the unions, both BNTU and the PSU. We have made the best offer that we can afford. As I said, that depending on who you speak with, this increase is going to this is going to cost the taxpayers anywhere between 90 and 103 million dollars. This will now take the salaries, the total salaries and pension benefits, to approximately $800 million. And there's only so much that we can afford. I've always supported the unions. I've always supported their right to speak out, to demonstrate, and if they need to strike, then they can strike. That is their right. And if the teachers want to feel that they want to strike, they can do so. I don't want them to strike. I think we have done our best efforts. We've been dealing with them in good faith, and we're doing the best we can. For years, the BNTU have been crying out that some of their members were not getting their full pension benefits because on the tertiary, on the high schools and sixth form, because the churches did not have the monies to pay the 30% of their pensions. It is our government that took it upon ourselves to be able to do that to the cost of another $10 million. I mean, we have been doing quite a lot for the teachers, and we hope that better heads prevail. I hope that they would think about the children and the families. Today we have lots of parents that are both parents are working, a lot of working families, both of them are working, and so whenever they would not show up to school, then they put these families in trouble because they don't know what is it that they're going to do with their children. So I hope better heads prevail, and we're always willing to talk and to continue to listen to their concerns. But we have done our best efforts to be able to work with them.
It appears that the raise in the CEO's salaries is what prompted them or pushed them to this action more quickly. Do you think then that it was ill-advised to raise the CEO's salaries?
Absolutely not. I do not think that is so. They were looking for an excuse. They were going to do what they were going to do. I mean, if you notice, there is a branch, almost every month they're out there demonstrating. Almost every month, yes. And then they did it before the elections. They came here during a house meeting. That's just an excuse. They were going to do what they wish. I mean, there's obviously there's some hotheads within the unions, and they're the one. They become the loudest voices within the union. But again, we have been working in good faith with the BNTU, and we wish that we can continue to work in good faith.
But will the government eventually buckle under the pressure of an extended strike? And if that will be the outcome, why not avoid it in the first place?
I hope that we don't go down that road. But I can tell you, and I'm speaking for myself, I'm not speaking for the cabinet, that I believe we've done our best efforts. We can't give what we don't have. We can't afford to pay more. I wish you could double their salaries, and I say this with all sincerity. I wish I could double it. My mother was a teacher. I remember as a little boy seeing she preparing lesson plans. I demonstrated BNTU as a child with my mother. I have a culture, I have a history with them growing up. My wife was a teacher, and she was also a member of the BNTU. So why would I not want to assist them? Why would I not want to help them, at least with memory of what my mother did all these years? I want to, but we cannot give what we don't have.
The new Commissioner of Police, Richard Wasado, has gone on the record to state that he has been lobbying, begging even for anti-crime states of emergencies to be executed for 6 to 12 months at a time. The intention, according to Wasado, is to move in a different direction with specialized intervention that promotes an evidence-based approach that would include prevention, community engagement, and multi-agency support rather than an enforcement-driven approach. Currently, the Constitution speaks to 30-day SOEs with the potential of up to 12-month extensions with National Assembly approval. The suggestion has been for the name of the measure to be changed to gang intervention period, but Wasado says the semantics do not matter What is important is implementing a strategy to dismantle criminal networks and rehabilitate offenders to safeguard communities. At the House of Representatives on Monday, while introducing the 13th constitutional amendment to provide for specialized anti-crime SOEs to eliminate legal liability regarding constitutional violation challenges from SOEs, the Prime Minister said people are calling for a Bukele-style strategy. However, he affirmed that this is not who we are as a country.
More and more people are starting to feel some sense of helplessness and trying to push governments, or in our case, our government, to take even more draconian measures. Everybody looks at what President Bukele did in El Salvador, and in their mind, if we are unable to tackle this small group of people, it's a few hundred of them, they are starting to push and advocate that maybe the government should consider picking up all of these mostly young men and lock them up so that people can live in peace. But this is not who we are. This is not what we believe in. We believe in a democratic state. We believe in the rights of our citizens, even those that are not following the law, that they must always have access to the law. Because once you start going down that slippery road, it will be difficult to turn around. So it's important, and I'm once again appealing to everyone, not only to the opposition, but even to our social partners and to the public to understand what we are attempting to do is simply to be able to see how we could address this issue and be able to contain the tempers when they're starting with the killings, for them to cool off, and then for us to be able to do more interventions. As I mentioned earlier, is that we fully understand that this is not how you solve crime. It's a temporary measure. To solve crime, we need to look at the root causes, the challenges of our families are having, challenges of their children going to school and having access, the challenges that many young people, when they come out from school, they feel that they don't have a future, that there's not opportunities for them. We have to be able to continue to address that more and more.
The 13th Constitutional Amendment Bill now goes to House Committee, where it will remain for 90 days, allowing for public input before it is returned for second reading. The PM on Monday announced that at the second reading, the government will present its plan to address crime, including the bolstering of social intervention programs. Leader of the opposition, Honorable Tracy Panton, yesterday told us she has yet to review the proposed amendment in detail, and their parliamentary caucus has not arrived at a position. However, she said she supports some aspects of the amendment.
After cursory review, there are some components I think we can readily agree to. For example, a gun court. This is not a novel idea. It happens in other parts of the region, particularly in Jamaica, and it helps to alleviate the backlog with gun-related offenses. Does two things. It moves the process along more quickly, and also people who may be innocent don't have to be waiting for prolonged periods of time to have a judgment or declare their name or whatever the situation is. I question, though, the need for government as a crime preventative measure to put in the supreme law of the land, the Constitution, a way to suppress the rights of citizens. Now, we are all bothered by the rate of crime. We're all bothered, certainly, that so many of our young people, or young men in particular, are engaged in gang violence, and we need a solution. Is the solution, though, to suppress the rights of citizens? What is the real crime prevention strategy that the government wishes to employ? It can't be a band-aid fix. We can't lock up people indefinitely if they are not proven to be guilty of a particular crime.
As we shared Monday, the PM says the amendment would provide retroactive lawfulness for all the SOEs introduced since 2018. Panton says they have reservations on that point. Tourism is the single greatest contributor to Belize's economy. Opposition leader Tracy Panton was a former functionary in the tourism sector, and yesterday we asked if constituents in the Albert Division have indicated being impacted already by a slowdown in the tourism industry due to effects from the Trump trade wars and other policies of his administration.
There is a slowdown already, and it's going to be worse moving forward. Yes, indeed, people have prepaid and pre-booked, and they won't forego those reservations or travel arrangements. But going forward, if you don't know when you will work again, if you don't know what is really going to happen in terms of your country's own country's policies, it has to be disconcerting, and you have to protect the basic needs first, right? You have to be able to send your children to school, you need to be able to pay your mortgage, you need to be able to put food on the tables. It's real for us, and it's real for the people in the US. And so in many cases, my cousin, for example, worked for the federal government. Both she and her husband have been laid off. Three children in college. That's real. The impact of that is real. And so she has to have to arrest her travel plans because they just simply don't have the disposable income. And until they're re-employed, they have to live off of what they have. And so it's real. It concerns me that while, as you know, I've always been passionate about tourism's contribution to a national economy and what it can do for this country, we also can't put all our eggs in one basket. For these kinds of external shocks where we don't have any direct control, but it will impact lives and livelihoods here in Belize.
During his contribution to the budget debate yesterday, Minister of Tourism Honorable Anthony Marler acknowledged an expected slowdown in the sector and said they are already seeing signs of a reduction in travel. He reported, however, that they are executing a strategy to address it.
Texas, California, New York, Washington, and Colorado are among our strongest source markets in the U.S. While the U.S. remains our key market, diversification continues to be a top priority. According to Tourism Economics, the key indicators for the performance of the industry this year are trending downwards as a result of trade tensions, global conflicts, inflation, immigration policies, airline disruptions, and security concerns. These factors are changing consumer behavior and softening demand across both leisure and business travel. Economic uncertainty and aggressive immigration enforcement in the U.S. have also created hesitation among diaspora travelers. However, to mitigate this, we are increasing our focus on the Canadian and European markets. Special promotions and direct campaigns will continue to position Belize as an adventure escape. In Mexico and Latin America, we are already seeing results from increased marketing. In fact, Mexican arrivals grew by over 200%, increasing from just over 6,000 in 2023 to almost 14,000 visitors in 2024. To capitalize on new opportunities, we continue to work in Canada, Latin America, and Europe. Our goal is to convert the awareness that we have created into actual visitor arrivals. We also urge the private sector to review their pricing structures so that we can remain competitive as a destination.
In the wake of the hijacking of a Tropic Air flight by U.S. national Akaniela Taylor on March 17th, the government revealed that the Belize Airport Authority had started putting in place measures from January this year to enhance security at domestic airports. It was later revealed by 7 News that the BAA in late December 2024 had awarded 2 lucrative 10-year contracts for the provision of security at domestic airports. Only it turns out that the companies for Diamond Security and iSecurity are linked to officials in its administration, and one company had gotten an advance to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Additionally, for 4 months, both companies were being paid already without any works being provided. Furthermore, it appears that the officers from one of the companies who were sent to get airport training performed poorly, with 66% of them failing. On Tuesday, Prime Minister John Busena told us they have to review what occurred.
Yeah, that's a matter that we have to we have to take a very a closer look, a hard look at it. But the irony is that it's almost an issue of damn if you do, damn if you don't. If we had not announced that we already have something in place when they had the unfortunate hijacking of the plane, probably News 7 would be hammering us to say, well, you know this is going to happen, and you have done nothing. Now we do something, you find a fault.
So you have to do it correctly, though, PM.
So he will find fault in whatever we do, and that's okay. That makes him feel great. That's good for him. But wait. No, it's the way you spin things, it's the way you explain things. Now that he has brought to our attention some of these things, we will have to take a look. If they were paid for for a time when they did not perform any work, then that will have to be deducted from future payments. So if I don't know, I need to get into that. So if that was done, then we'll have to do that. But I think that back then, the Belize Airport Authority was trying to get something done quickly because the pressures was upon them because of what has happened just in the recent past.
We also pressed the PM on the whiff of corruption that accompanies these deals, which involve apparent cronies receiving contracts in a selective tender process to provide critical security services for domestic airports.
As I said earlier, I think when you look back, you have 2020 vision. And I'm sure that there are many ways that you could find improvements in the whole system, and that's something that we have to take a look at and learn from.
But corruption?
I don't know how you deem that as corrupt.
You have this company getting an advance
because it was issue of a limited tendering, which is done in many instances. On the issue of corruption, if these people are given an advance, then it is monies that, if it was so, then we will have to be able to deduct it from future payments to ensure that the BAA gets value for money.
But it doesn't appear that these are companies that are well established offering these services. It kind of seems that it's hurry come up and you're giving it to cronies in a sense.
That's your view.
And the public's interpretation as well, which you will be judged for.
Okay.
You accept that?
It's not a matter of accepting, but I'm not going to be in a back and forth with you over that issue. But as I said, could it have been done better? Quite likely now that you look back, yes. Was I involved in the process? No. Had I known, I would have probably given advice that we need to go a different route. But at the end of the day, security is expensive. You could ask the airport, the people at back. You could ask any company that have to provide specialized security. They will tell you that it is expensive.
And for morning news update, we take a small break. When we come back on the other side, we will be open for the business of conversation. You're listening to Creme Radio, watching XTV. We will be right back.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989.
All right, welcome back. 5 minutes after 7 o'clock. This is the WB Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes, Wednesday morning, May 28th, here on this, again, Wednesday morning, Creme Radio, XTV, and welcome to the conversation. This is where it starts right now, as we've completed the preliminaries and our business can get on the way with you utilizing the phone we have right here at my disposal. It's 280-5848. That's how we open up, with you calling. No there for preach, no there for talk to myself. We're there for exchange views and thoughts. And hopefully, before the morning is out, many of you will take up that invite and fully utilize it on this Wednesday morning. WB Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes. Always things lined up to talk about, and so the details of the security contracts for domestic airports have taken center stage, because now more and more of this stuff is coming out. Let's take this call. Krem, good morning.
Morning, my brother. How are you this morning?
Give thanks. I got up out of bed and standing on 2 feet, so that's always something to give thanks for. What's going on?
All right. Well, you know, boy, last night we lose one of our love India mother at the community church, Miss Lerner, Stephen Morales' mother. You know? It was a sad feeling last night in the community, because Miss Lerner is loved by many, you know. So that's the one I think I want talk about this man just put out there. The public is aware that Miss Lerner has passed away. I know it touched not for winning the community, you know, only up to the deputy. I mean, it touched all of it, because Miss Lerner means a lot to us in the community. All right? So I get that from the chest. So Brother Mose.
Yes, my brother. Condolences to the family. Absolutely. Okay?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Mose, I think about what you told me yesterday, right? And we talk about many things. You talk about many things.
Yes.
Right, but you open up. You know, you open up when I'm a book way, I'm a close. Most, the Prime Minister say okay more. And so this goes to the teachers. I'm supporting the teachers now. I'm making a voice for the teachers now. And the union. You understand? It's my responsibility to do that. You understand? So, most, the Prime Minister said okay more that he understands what the teachers go through, because he, you know, part of the journey, he walking in on the journey, he supporting the journey. His mother, his wife, everybody was under the educational system, so they understand exactly what the teachers are going through. But I need to make these teachers know, and his union know. There comes a time where you have to put an end and a stop to something. And the believers and citizens, they have to stand up in support of that. Yes, your kids are not the problem, because by the end of the day, you don't want the teachers in the classroom to teach your kids. But the reality is, if you don't put a stop or a stand to something, you're not getting nothing. There must be a solution to all this mess, Mose. This mess is going too long. There must. The educational officer, all right, the minister, the education minister, sorry, and the Prime Minister and the deputy, they must could sit down with these people like they always do and figure it out. These are brilliant minds on both sides. They're not brilliant people, they are smart people. You mean to tell me there are people that can't sit down and come to a solution? And then by the end of the day, the reality is they talk in other conversation, and they talk about big figures and big money, and when people hear any kind of talking me, and they say to themselves, man, if only could do that, only could do this, only could deal with that, regardless if it's true or not, and news are news, The reality is, the word they out there, I want the word they out there. The thing is that they're the ones, they think are triggering teachers. They are triggering teachers. You get what I'm saying? So they must go sit down Mose. We got a lot of other Mose. We have a lot of other issues that is so important that we could work on. You understand? Then the state of, this is going too long. This has been too long. You mean we can't figure it out? All these smart people, them brilliant people, huh? I could tell you stories about I started to saw teachers most and I had to tell the teachers going in their pocket to make my classroom look decent. I live from teachers, so I witnessed these things. But then by the end of the day, you as a government, they have other conversation and they talk big figures and big money in all different sectors, different areas. Man, that's not triggering people then. They don't like to pay people who want to go in the classroom and go little up with me.
But it goes beyond that. It is one thing, again, for the, and this all began, at least this particular phase, this escalation began with the situation with the increased salary of, I think, 15% was the figure for CEOs. Immediately following the election, this information came out. But what you need to, because nothing comes out at thin air, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And again, this is just this is just what we would call a rapid intensification. It's like when they say something gone from one tropical wave to one category 5 overnight. But it is not, because what you need to recall is that last year we had a situation where at least well over 100 teachers, I think it's somewhere around 140, somewhere around there, teachers had not received their salaries for months. And I mean, you have to understand that by itself had the ingredients for this to have just completely become what it has become today. That by itself, you're talking here about the largest, most powerful, most organized union in the country. But let me finish, because you see you're jumping in and I have to fill in some gaps.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is right. Big money they talk and teachers there and say, well, if big money they talk, our purchasing power has been reduced. If big money they talk, we better be in it, and this is our position, and so the escalation has happened. But it's not only that. You have to put in, I think it's important, and this was something that when I spoke on this issue, my first talking on this issue, I did not fully appreciate how deep a violation it was for you to have a situation where teachers were going without getting paid. This is I mean, listen, this is so if I don't know if you say, oh well, man, the incompetence or the negligence or the indifference or whatever it is still a deep violation, because it messages that you are not a high priority, because you're talking here about a fundamental thing, a fundamental thing about being, listen, I've been involved in scenarios where your P&O reach for a couple of days, both as an employee, as an employer, and I know the impact of that. But when you are dealing with your rent and your mortgage and school fees and your money, no days late, no weeks late, so it was egregious. And And to some extent, the union chose to be reasonable and hold it down. Some would say the union should have may get crazy then. But that storm passed so this happened on the latter part of last year. This not happened 2-3 years ago, you know. We're not talking about the standoff that happened when the salary reductions were taking place coming out of COVID. We are talking about something that happened late last year. Fast forward now, when we are here dealing with our salaries not reaching on time, and you open up your new ball game, you open up your new term by serving self. You have poured salt and pepper in a wound that was there, and that has created this escalation. And the teachers are saying, and what you have pointed out, you're talking this big money and that big money. Well, let us deal with our real. So there is a process going on, and obviously from what we have reported here, the teachers have turned down that proposal. And so now you got to get around the table now. You have to go back around the table because the teachers have voted down that. That's where it is. And again, not only now they have to deal with that, but we have to know the teachers are going to say, I mean, this administration they are digging themselves one serious pit. Because in the middle of this now, when you are saying to the teachers what you're saying, you have now to deal with the news that you signed contract with the airport security for domestic airport security, and what the report is saying, okay, so they said a crony and all of that, which, you know, that is politicians believing in cronies. But what makes this particularly disgusting and ugly in the midst of all of this, if you're a teacher, is that now you're getting a report that these people, they opened up the ball game by getting paid.
Yeah.
So how do you explain, how do you defend starting payments before work begin?
That the thing where they may think that when it trigger the whole thing, they may think that when you listen to Mose, if you listen on our talk here, tell me here the one, this is where I go off, and it's the best I could do for right now. We have figured it out down the road. Boom. But by the end of the day, you will sit down and talk to, under your camp, only to give people money before they do the job.
Before they do the job.
Make it worse than that. The people who are all right too.
And people were apparently, again, this is the report, they gonna take training and they fail the exam.
You take it serious?
So how do you listen? How do you, and then now I can't understand. It's like, how do you have a scenario where you begin the ball game by paying in advance? Like this is not you're the bill and house for me and I have to buy the supplies.
Yeah.
This I know. If you don't have, if you qualify, if I choose you to do this job, I know why you tell me, but I need money for buy the tools. I don't got no hammer, I don't got no saw. I need you to give me an advance so I could buy the hammer and buy the saw and buy the tools of my work. No, if I choose you because you have proven to me that you don't have the capacity to do this. You don't got your thing set up. You've already made an investment in your company. Your company exists and it is equipped and it has what it takes to start day one. When you start work, when you start deliver the security services, then naturally that when the money start to get paid to you. And this, we're not talking about the sums of money and after 10 years. You're talking about just something very fundamental in a business. No, if they were running their own business, that's not how they would have done it. So that's
the whole thing was, the whole thing looks shaky. The whole thing looks shaky so far. And that goes back to what we were talking about. Then thing there when they trigger the union day.
Oh, full.
You understand?
Full.
Every day, something, every day, transaction will come up. What part of money they tremble? You get what I'm saying?
You can't say one thing that listen, we have this, so how much this thing will cost, $105 million, and we have to be, you represent this sense of being prudent, of being fiscally conscious, and want to make sure that we deal with the bottom line. But when we deal with things like that, we're very indifferent to bottom line and to good financial practices. How you start paying months, we're not talking about weeks, months before you start deliver work to me, you done the whole money. Like, my goodness, man, that you can't defend that. That the only way that happened, the only way that could go on, that when you got lump sum, when the money is so thick that you don't worry about money, man. You want to start March? Yeah, what? Make we start just give you some money right now. Hold on money right now. Hold on money right. Just get, yeah, man. You good, man? What the bloody hell you think people want feel about that? Where they on the ground, they're like, well, you can't talk to me about stuff. You can't talk to me about being financially prudent and pragmatic and conservative and all of that, because that's not how you act when that different matters. It's really digging themselves a deep hole. And
listen to me.
Yeah.
The big man said he never did it. 1. 2, the big man said that's something you have to look into. And when you look into it, that the money only done there already, we have figured out down the road, and we have take that out.
I'm sorry. If you don't know about it, you must know about it. And if you know about it, you're absolutely wrong. So there is that is when money they hib out, money they pay out.
One thing I could tell them was,
yeah, you could put, let me put the situation like this, right?
Yeah.
I am presently the director of XTV.
Yeah.
My old man that the owner of XTV, if he find out that I had to bust off money, that XTV they make some big payment to somebody when not start deliver no service to XTV yet, and when he come ask me, hey, youth, or well, you used to call me, can't call me youth no more. Where they go on here, money they bust off, but I don't see no work. And then I want to say to him, I don't know about that. I never did it. You think that hold any water? That no hold no water. You supposed to be, that your job for no.
Well, I don't never listen to me. I don't never free that. I never free that because at the end of the day, I don't know anything to me. That kind of money there, you have to know where it going. You have to know where it's going.
Just the concept of advanced payment for a contract, where again, this is another construction work. This is security work. And again, let me add this. Can regular citizens learn about security? Yeah, you could go and take training and studies and so on, but in my humble opinion, the people who you naturally say who have been in security as career security people would naturally be the ones where you want to say, well, at least I think they know about this. Somebody will come with a background in a military, maybe in the BDF. Somebody will be in the police at one high level executing certain things like that experience they got value. You know, yes, one investor could go and hire these people, so that could happen. But the question then would be, still a requirement as one investor and one person where they run one business like that is, it's still important for you have one background in this for know how the thing's supposed to run, so you could hold the people you have hired accountable and have the standards and have the procedures and have everything in a place. That you still have to have some familiarity with this terrain. So for me again, like, it's just this is ugly. This is ugly, and absolutely your point that people have to understand that they have one situation with the teachers where
they have a role to play more. They have a role to play because the reality is that the teachers, they have to make a sacrifice, and the sacrifice, what I mean, listen to me, Mose, you know much of the teachers have to face embarrassment and shame take an outstanding loan bill. You know much of the teachers have to go through that kind of thing there. You know much of them get their name show up in a papers for where they who are thing. They kind of embarrassment then they people have it because to where they education has take them to in a level more, they never feel the sweet, they never feel the reward. They don't feel the reward. And somebody put in years. Remember, this goes back to the senior citizen name. When I tell you the story about the idea for the courthouse, when they got out, they still cry for you bit of money, you know. And then people, they will be shocking, surprising to me. All these senior citizens, when I say outdoor placard modes, was once a high-profile individual in a police society in the past couple of years. You understand?
Oh, you're talking about the trust.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have money to give it to know, so, you know, they got the program for them, you know. But then they make you know the program and enough for them, so man, they're not good health for their program.
That's a huge quarrel. I don't use the word quarrel. Quarrel make it sound like a small matter. That a very serious dispute, and a dispute where that from the 90s. I know you have a situation where people have died who were depending on who had expectations of getting something, and there is a different view of what those expectations should have been, which goes all the way back to in the 90s. We're part now, you know, every side is saying, well, this is what was agreed to, and so now you have this. We've had both sides of the conversation come in, and it's an extremely, you know, a very serious dispute. Let me just go back to the term. Yeah, it's a very yeah. But I gotta go to break, young brother. It's 29 minutes after 7 o'clock, and I'm going to break right into your domain, so you get to eat 2 times. Be the first caller, and then you to take care of 2 cents scam. That I eat 2 times, but we live with it. Give thanks, respect. 2 cents scam, 4th Point Security is our sponsor. We will go to our commercial break right after that. WB Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. Mose Hyde in the house with you on this Wednesday morning, the 28th of May, 2025. And as always, there's an open invitation for you to jump in and engage in conversation. The number to call, 280-5848. That is the direct line for you to participate in the conversation. We want to get you on board and hear your views and thoughts and concerns. That's the way it works. Please feel free at any time to jump in, even if the topic that you would like to talk about is not the one that we are talking about at that particular time. Just jump in. WB, Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we do have a bit of traffic coming our way. So keep that in mind. After the next break, we're going to have guests in the house. So right now, things are a little bit free for you to utilize the space how you want. That's how you go. Yesterday, we kind of touched on this whole issue of state of emergency, and we have not had an opportunity as yet to, at least not on this, not when I'm here, to talk to the new commissioner, Commissioner Rosado. He is very forthcoming in what he prefers. He wants to see the interventions to be enabled for a longer period of time. We are talking here about the state of emergency. And as we work through this process and we hear from the Prime Minister explain, the whole position on the state of emergency, not a lot of people jumping into that conversation. But we have a call. Krem, good morning.
Hello, Brother Mose. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I touched upon a situation with Belizean beach land, no?
Mm-hmm.
Now, name as a era rapper, no, just as a person, we could get in a year mind to own a piece of land, knowing the significance of that era. We all we Belizean who ride with bicycles and tongue go up there, go swim and thing, and or you could develop that mind. Then you defend it up. You defend those people. You use this as a hustle for you. You don't consider when you are a minister, so we could develop this area good, so Belizean could go a nice beach for go to. And we know the area may stand bad. The area, they left it right, so people like the Belizean beach left that. So maybe in a him mind, nobody want to deal with it, so I grab it. Instead of in a him mind as my era rep, should I say, boy, I could develop this era for the public, where the public could have public space for their and their family, with go and go relax anytime they want. Put in the bathroom pictures and things, nice up the place for the people.
Yeah.
But for their mind, and this all of them, this another thing, boy, I could grab this. This is a big come up. This is a big come up. Seafront. I tell seafront, I don't joke, brother Mose. Me and you know, get those seafront like that, brother. I ain't grab all like here. They how much? $1,000. That's a shame, my brother. I really want shame for you.
It's not just a seafront. This should never have been available. There's so much that has been lost, and as we go through this hot time of the year, right? And you think about we used to go swim, right? Popular places, from a Sunday where you could have find Belizeans to swim. City people are the talk about. People on the hangar. I used to go to hangar. People on the Old College, and people on the Belizean beach, right? Then the place where you go and you cool off. I never did have one big Belizean beach thing. For we events used to do a Buffer Hole Beach, where me there close to there. The late Mr. Gillett used to really
Yeah, I know that area.
Used to really treat her with respect and give her a chance to make one leader, and always remember him for that. But the ability to have give an opportunity to go chill out with access to it. Now, these were not ideal, some of these were not ideal places, like the hangar was not like ideal. I know that right now on Sundays you will see some people out in front of the Memorial Park area. You will see some people out there swimming. Again, they are not ideal area for swim. They have to walk across rock and all kind of thing. Belizean Beach, that's not San Pedro, but the Fui Beach, when you come up to the city where you notice our outlet for you go cool off. We have made so many things, this reserve, this protected area, that protected area. Nobody thought that you have to make Belizean Beach one protected area, because we never ever think that somebody would have, as you said, look upon it and say, I want that. Like, absolutely, like how you make up your mind that that is something that you want when you know what it represents. It's more than just seaside. There is a heritage value to Belizean Beach. So just like how again people had the same sentimental value towards the barracks. They were part of heritage, and so I don't know. They mentioned who got it. I don't know if we know who signed off on it at the time. Apparently, just before elections, signed off on it. But something I don't know about the other piece of land, but the Belizean Beach thing, people have a right to feel like this is really disgusting and to say, listen, what can be done, because this is a heritage, say World Heritage Site, but it's a Belizean Heritage Site. That's for we thing, that's for we heritage site. And again, they're not like they're not like one place we part maybe tourists going, but we part we go, especially working class people, we part we go cool off, and you never have to go pay nothing for go there. You just carry your leave bag, and we know that they're more than go cool off. We know that may also a romantic destination. Again, and you laugh. You laugh.
I have to get like Bernie Mac. That was a long time.
Wicked fellow. But yeah, I feel that I feel like it's in retrospect and hindsight they say it's 2020, but we couldn't believe that somebody would consider possessing it, because it really should have gotten some kind of protection status. It really should have get one protection status, and even now it is something that maybe has to be considered. I mean, obviously, my signature is there and the title and no, but
no, you have to retract that. That could be retracted in a public interest. That the public outside, that's the name I got much worry. Just have to retract that. And then why about compensation? Because you never even pay nothing anyway, like $1,000 or not. So you just retract that, and we get the beach going to the public.
Yeah.
That's all.
We also have to. This is one of the things that me hesitate to talk about the Belizean Beach thing, because beyond losing some of the areas we used to go cool off and swim in, for people where, we could go to Kikaka and go to Gavski, then they're a 5-star. But on a weekend to weekend basis, if you're able to go swim, like, I come up in a family, we used to go to Key, but I also used to go to Hangar. But one of the big problems with the water around Belize City right now is that they don't talk about it, but the water is contaminated. And the water is contaminated all the way around and all the way up to Belizean Beach. This is contaminated water, and they keep it on the hush, on the down low. The impact that the sewage ponds have on the entire water around the city, and the fact that these ponds were never designed, according to what I have been told, to still they are the work in this capacity in 2025. They don't outgrow their safety. And again, these are not things that we talk about, and I feel that they're one of the unspoken environmental disasters. Yes, people still swim, they're not dead, but me very uncomfortable if you go and swim in a water around Belize City, having that knowledge that it contaminated. So we not only want to look upon how we are remedy that the situation at Belizean Beach, but I think we also have to light the fire upon we leaders to say whether it's fixed, because it can be fixed. There has to be a decision made on those ponds that are there Baka Gianoshare, and there has to be because the contamination, the water studies that they have done, the contamination, it goes all the way out towards the reef. So it's not just right here, but especially close to land where the ponds are located, the problem exists. So Belizean Beach, our heritage, is iconic. We shouldn't have that being somebody's private possession. And we also have to do something about the waters around the city so that we want to be able to know that the water is safe, you know?
Yeah, our next situation will come up, Mose, outbreak dengue. So they asked the Ministry of Health to start to spray, especially in the Port Layola area, so no? Several people has got dengue. So they asked the Ministry of Health to bring out and truck and spray, no? So they asked them to that, because several people I know, and it's our brothers and sisters where I know, has got dengue. So brother, most thanks for the time.
All right, give thanks. WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes on a Wednesday morning. Let me just jump in and just say that I don't really understand the commissioner's point about changing the whole way of dealing with the state of emergency. I have not really heard his breakdown, so I will wait and give him an opportunity. Hopefully we can get him on the show soon to kind of get that unpacked. But for me, fundamentally, if it is that you have evidence threshold for determine who will be detained, but I take this call. Krem, good morning, WB. Good morning. Good morning.
Mose, I just wanted to comment a little bit on the conversation yesterday with regards to the constitutional amendment, and my apologies if you did get my feedback about
Yeah, okay, yeah, you do sound a little bit distant, but we can hear you. We can hear you.
All right, good. So I think it's important that we get Senator Denison or Attorney Bradley on the show for next week. Perhaps get my legal opinion on what this constitutional amendment means for the citizenry. Because what I don't want to happen is that we do not do anything, we say a little, and then the amendment goes through, and then we find out that again it is something that ultimately is challenged as perhaps being unconstitutional.
You're talking about you're talking about the amendment to try to reduce the legal questions around the SOEs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's a very serious matter, and the reason why I would have suggested Senator Denison is because anybody that would do some research on his comments on the SOEs after he was appointed senator, he kept warning the government that when the High Court starts coming down on you, it will be costly. And I was looking at his past comments, and he was one of those citizens that was cautioning us that this administration has taken the approach of appointing a slew of foreign judges. And he said to them, he warned them, especially where this SOE matter is concerned, about these foreign judges. And I'm not here to question the judgment. I think that ultimately a higher court will determine whether the judgments are good or bad. No? But I think that it's important that there's a more deeper conversation and that people understand that this is a 13th constitutional amendment and it will impact on our fundamental rights and freedoms. And so I'm not an attorney, so I really can't comment on it, but I would really want that perhaps
Dean,
with the assistance of those individuals, we could get an understanding.
Well, Dean, so we're speaking here with Dean Flowers, the President of the Public Service Union. You're right. I failed to give props to Senator Dennison yesterday when I spoke on this matter. Or was it yesterday or Monday? I'm not sure. I failed to mention that indeed at that level, those concerns, because I feel overall that people have not really been bothered by the whole matter of the SOE. I feel that people say, well, listen, they're not the baddies, they're not the killers, and so do what you have to do, and in other words, they don't even deserve the constitutional rights. Too much, when we try use the system as it's designed, work for make we hold bad actors accountable, so no gonna excuse for get drastic and do what we do. Okay, and so just as Senator Dennison, I have in fact from the very first installment of the SOE said, listen, this no constitutional in my view, and at some point in time somebody can carry on a court. No, I feel that what the politicians are kind of felt that they're not people who got the resources for carrying a court. And so I ain't even been aware that this particular matter had gone to court. So much so that when I was asked to speak to a group of the detained in the SOE, I said to them, I know they have to endorse nobody would it take, no brother would it take another brother life. So that don't know where this is. Is to understand that when you endorse shortcuts around what protects all of us, you are opening up Pandora's box where could come back and bite you. Because when you decide that, I mean, yesterday or Monday, Dean, my point was, first of all, the government is usually made up of several lawyers, which is no different with this particular administration. There are several lawyers in it. Then it has an attorney general. And then in that attorney general, you have people who have all of them have law degree. So they don't have no reason for no thoroughly sound out anything when they look for though, to see whether or not they expose themselves to litigation risk. But sometimes political experience and for just the optics of one thing, for look like they do one thing, they rush out there and just do what they want to do. And that create one problem for taxpayers because then the taxpayers won't pay that. So now you have one situation where just like where the past administration began and do, if they said they want pass one legislation to retroactively eliminate any possibility of being held accountable for something when they don't do and whether or not it conflicted with the law or conflicted with the Constitution, I find retroactive legislation to be one disgusting, unacceptable, just vile. The concept of it just ring that you have the power for fix a law so that something where you don't do cannot be considered as something where you never for me do. That blow my mind. I don't know how how that could be deemed as anything where there are healthy option in our place where one claim to be rule of law, democratic and all of that. Like how that could even exist as one option, but it does. I feel like you have to oppose that the concept of the retroactive thing. But then I feel like yesterday when I talked about this, I really feel like I did on my island with this one, because people know they hear that. All people they look upon well, you know what, that to deal with people who are bad. That to deal with people who get killed. So we don't want to hear all of that. This is how you end up living in a Bukele kind of culture. And you have people where they call for that. So you know, you end up feel like you're up on an island. So I really appreciate, I say all of that to say, I'm happy to hear that you representing as the president. This is not a consensus position of the Public Service Union. You're speaking by yourself. I understand that. But it's still a significant thing that you engage on this issue, because I said to myself, nobody will pick up this. Nobody consider this to be something where we should be concerned about.
No, I think this is a national issue, and I really believe, like I said, hopefully we can get some greater sensitization on it, and we need to engage as social partners, especially at the Senate level, because this is how it starts, Mose. This is how it starts. Then they call for the criminals, we're not saying nothing. Then they call for the unionists, we're not saying nothing. Then they call for the churchman, we're not saying nothing. Then when they call for we, nobody does ever speak for we. So we have to understand that yes, the law is not intended for us. But at the end of the day, we need to ensure that anything that threatens people's fundamental rights and principles to freedom cannot be countenanced, man. I can't support that.
You know what it is, Dean, and again I said this when I spoke on the matter, I think yesterday. We have an example right before us, a country that is far more advanced with checks and balance, and have a form of government where have one deep appreciation for try prevent totalitarian rule, embedded in an DNA against the idea of our king. And we see that being dismantled before our very eyes. And how it happened? Because the now President of the United States of America saw an issue where the people feel this need to be fixed, an entire year of the talking. So they say undocumented people in our country have to get out. And so they give him a free rein, because he milked that issue more than anybody else. But they allow to say, even if the court they tell you to bring back somebody or not send a plane, do what you want. But when they realize now is that when they allow him to do that, he could do that with anything where he want to do it with. To the point now we're part stunning to me. He attacked even the most prestigious academic institution in our country and tell them, I don't want to bring no more international students here. He attacked one of the premier media houses, CBS, and one of the premier independent productions where has been consistent for a long time when it comes to investigative journalism. He put 60 Minutes on his knees. Yeah. This is happening in the United States of America. So he act with immense totalitarian initiatives, all because he was allowed to and empowered because of just the one issue of immigration. No, I don't want that. The point of laying that out and not get involved with American domestic things, because that I am not a citizen, I don't get into that. But it's there as an example of how when you allow somebody to do what you want in a one regard because it's convenient to you, you then set one precedent for create the space to make maybe not the person know, but somebody come well like the idea of could do what you want. And start to then say, you know what? Make we go further than that. Make we stop there one for the run them open talk show. Make we go further than that. Make we start to limit how the unions go active up in this space. They got too much. They got that the Pandora's box where they open. But you want to ignore it because you say, oh, that just ain't bad one. You could go and for those who are so who have such intense bromance with Bukele, you could go and find out how the media feel there. The pressure where the media they under there. The pressure where because no you're the enable because somebody do something where you want to do and you're satisfied and you're pleased. But there are consequences to that.
And Mose, I really appreciate that you're making the link with this order, and I refer to it as an executive order because it's a proposed constitutional change, with the possibility of that gradually giving rise to attacks on other institutions. And I'm glad you spoke of the union because as we speak, there has been and there continues to be dialogue about the revision of the labor laws, the Labor Act, the Trade Union Act, and it is in there that there are already proposals to take away the right of unions to strike. And that's why it's important that that's why I'm appreciative of you making the link that, look, they're going after these people, and we're not here to defend them. If they need to be held accountable, we have to find a way to hold them accountable. But at the same time, it could lay a dangerous foundation whereby they come for all of us and we end up in as you rightly said, a totalitarian state whereby we're not going to know rights. Most quickly, just to get off of that topic, I just want to say, as it relates to this Elysian Beach thing and every other prime piece of property that has been robbed from under us by politicians who have gifted it to themselves, their families, or to the so-called aliens, what we call foreign investors. What I've been saying to the government, we cannot continue to exploit our natural resources the way we have been doing. The economic model not work for us. We have to change the model to ensure that we are getting value for what is ours. To this date, this administration refused to introduce one capital gain tax on these type of land speculation. So if it is, and when you talk capital gains tax, you talk not less than 50% to 75% or even up to 80 and 90% on the value of that sale. Because it is not yours. And in these cases, it's exploited from the Belizean people. Again, this administration would have also passed a civil and unexplained wealth order bill and a civil assets recovery act. These acts, the acts of corruption whereby we can easily effect the law and get back these things which are public property because people can't explain that they got them legitimately. So I keep saying to this administration that this nonsense, especially given the current negotiations that we're engaging, whereby you're saying, well, you can call taxpayers, well, here what they go on, brother. The greatest threat to taxpayers and the greatest threat to citizen security, that corrupt leaders. Because the honor are pushing up poverty, let us start kill out each other. They're not the bad boy on the street. The greatest threat to this country are 31 people there where they sit down in our house, and that has been sitting there since 1981. You all have been the greatest threat and continue to be the greatest threat. And I'm saying, if you're serious, just effect the law. Hold on yourself accountable. Introduce capital gain tax. When you're giving away these concessions in the millions, nothing less than 25 yards. Force these actors to perform first. Let them perform. Let them deliver the jobs. Let them deliver the local content where purchasing local goods and that type of production is concerned. Then you give them the concession. But like you discussed with the security people then this morning, before the man they even delivered on the collect, and it's the same thing where nobody want all the tax concession. But I'm saying to this administration, we have a problem in this one negotiation. The Public Service Union is casting their votes today. And if that vote is against the government's proposal, we will have a problem. Because we have to start give account in telling the Belizean people how many hundreds of millions of dollars you are giving away in concessions to people who are not delivering on the goods that they have promised to develop this country, but at alone expatriation at the wealth and the revenues that is being generated off our backs. The exploitation is real more. And I don't know if Belizean people not tired yet. But I've said to the government negotiating team, I ready for whatever, brother. I tired. I sick and tired. I tired of hear Belizean people complain. Call center people, they call me because of the abuse. The Prime Minister, they talk foolishness about the money within the Met. He needs to check his math. Because the math that he would have tried to pronounce on a couple of weeks ago is suggesting that even the call center people that they make less than the minimum wage when he tried to compare that with the public sector wage bill. What I am saying was that I'm encouraging public officers, especially those members, well, more importantly, the members of the union, because it's a restricted vote, to cast their vote. The polls close at later on this evening, so we've created voting stations across the country, and we've also created an online platform for Public Service Union members to cast their vote as to whether or not they accept the proposal, and if they don't, then to perhaps provide us with guidance in terms of where we need to go. So I'll end it at that note, but thanks very much for the opportunity as usual, my brother.
All right, it's 12 minutes after 8. We got to go to break. We'll be back.
Prepare for the heat and stay cool with a Reamer Grey air conditioning unit
All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Mose Hyde in the house, and this morning we have a special slate of guests. It's been a while, so it's good to see Dr. Clara Cuellar in the house, Executive Director of the YMCA, and she is joined by two youth leaders from the YMCA, Herman Williams and Devon Lopez. We say good morning and welcome to you all.
Morning. Good morning, Denise.
And so there are big things happening. The YMCA, you've not been in the news, but that doesn't mean that you're not active. So give us, before we speak about the specific matter that you came here this morning, give us a kind of sense what's been going on with the YMCA and what it does.
Well, good morning, Denise. Good morning, Mose. It is good to sit with you. You're right. We're toiling away. We're still into this process of youth development and influencing young people, which means we only come out into the media space when our youths are comfortable, because family is family and we keep family matters in the yard of the YMCA. But we're still striving for the same things, working with young people to help them develop in character, mind and spirit, as well as in academics, so that they can look forward to a better future for themselves, for the families that they will build. And so they learn together. And we use team spirit. So my sports background tells me that I will have all sorts of players on the field, and if we collectively work together, we can learn different things. And that's what we do, with the aim that they will find meaningful work rather than just the minimal wage work. So a big pillar has evolved even within the YMCA internationally, which is meaningful work where I continue to learn and grow and therefore get better salaries. So the projects we do at the Y, for example, in the last year, we got help to get a lawnmower, weed whacker, and different tools. Our youths have been cutting and cleaning our own fields. Now they're learning how to care for the machines. The whole purpose there is how to be faithful to work, how to learn different skills, gain experience, the technical language that goes with those machines. If they learn how to paint at our building, and they develop confidence through these opportunities, then they can venture out and start to do it in other areas.
I wonder if I ask people if they know where YMCA is in Belize, how many people will get it wrong.
You'll get me fired, Mose. My board doesn't like that. We can't be as obscure as obviously it is. We're on Harbors Road, which is the center of our community and the center of where a lot of our children come from.
I didn't say that as a slight to you.
No, I know.
I say that as a kind of I understand. It's just that your sister organization, the YWCA, is more known. Its work is more known, and it's where it's at. But I would argue that the YMCA is in a critical. The YMCA is in a very critical area, working with endangered lives, and on a daily basis. And so, we should have a higher consciousness of the YMCA and what it's doing and how we can involve ourselves with it. So I just feel like it's on us that we don't know and have greater intimacy with the YMCA. It's not about whether or not their YMCA is projecting. I understand that. I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, thank you, and you are right. Our children come from several different schools, at least 11 different schools. They live in our neighborhood for the most part because, for example, I am from this area, St. Martin's. But I'm working on Farbers Road. There's no direct bus from Farbers Road to Vernon Street, even though it's so close.
Yeah.
So they have to go out to the city and come back in. So children from this zone find it difficult to go to Harbor, even for travel. Yeah. We're not even talking about, groups and neighborhoods. We're not going to talk about that. But our youths go to several different primary schools and they catch the bus or walk or ride bike, but mostly walk and bus to come back to our neighborhood, and they stop at the Y. So we're there in the evening, like I always use this analogy, like a godmother or an auntie or an uncle, and they come and hang out at our house, and we may have a little better than maybe their parents have. And so we offer structure, challenges, and fun. No child comes to an after-school program just to grind more books.
How many youths you have roughly who?
Currently, right now, we only have about 35. Since pandemic, it's been harder to grow back up. But consistently, we have between 50 to 60 youths.
Okay.
And we're already seeing the trend coming back, so we'll have that again by September.
So before I speak to the two youths who are here, tell me about them, Herman and Devon. Tell me about these two youth leaders before we find out what they're doing right now.
Well, one, I think they'll do a good job, but they are examples of what we do. They both they'll tell you they're there for 8 years. Our program is about that godmother, godfather relationship.
8 years?
Yeah, we grow up together, and therefore, love is in the house. You could get vexed and stop for 2 weeks, and you could come back. And love is in the house, and this is where it is. You get love, you get discipline, you get nurtured, you get challenged. And it's the longevity that we think makes the big change in the lives of the youths. Because as we know, maybe I'm young and I like the place. But now that I'm a teenager, I'm trying to flex my own muscles, spread my wings, and their challenges can happen in any family, like the Y family. And then we start settling down, and then start to see past students come through and tell them, listen, this has benefited me. I'm a leader here. I finished sixth form. We've broken several barriers. We have 100% graduation rate. If you stay with us, you're going to graduate. No questions. We'll get you there. And now we have those entering junior college. The struggle is always hard. Where's the money coming from? The discipline of entering a HJC or a UB is beyond what even parents will tell us they can't prepare them for, so we work with them. And then we have a few who's going beyond that, associates as well.
Herman and Devon, before we go to break, tell us what the YMCA has meant to you, what you feel has been added to you by being a part of the YMCA for 8 years.
Well, what the YMCA had given me was confidence, experience in many fields, like as Ms. Grad said, maintain our compound with lawn mowing, with my speech, with my proper English, and my stuttering, because I used to have that, when Ms. Grad get me out of that, and the family
She got you out of stuttering?
Yes, sir. And the family structure that we have there.
Okay.
Well, for me, the most substantial part was my academics, because I was very lacking in that field. So building my academics also gave me a sense of confidence to be open to making mistakes, to be open to different opportunities. Because if you're not open, how will you make mistakes and how will you learn? So we'll stay at one level, and we don't want that. We want to grow. So by giving me that confidence and that sense of family, that if I make a mistake, I won't be punished for it, I won't be ridiculed, they just build me up. So the most important thing was the family structure to me, because if you're not comfortable enough to make mistakes around people, you can't grow. We don't want to be seen as weaker or lesser than someone, so we want that safe space to really grow and bond with someone, and to know that they're there for you and they got your back.
As young men, young boys going out to young men, one of the struggles is to be coming out to the communities that you're coming out is to be viewed as soft, and so our young boys, young men, they don't want to be viewed as soft. And how do you navigate? How do you deal with that? The pressure of, you want to be accepted by your peers, but you understand, listen, I have to take responsibility for myself. I have to develop myself, and even if you don't see what it's making me and what the results are going to be, I have to be about that. How do you stay the course, knowing that, if you are, you don't know YMCA boy, you don't soft boy, you don't really want to, I'm sure that you have met that in your community.
Okay. Well, the way how we deal with that, me, is I have the self-esteem over the time, because I've been there for 8 years, so I've been building up my self-esteem, my self-confidence. So when even if someone ridicules me about, having this sense of family from the YMCA, I don't really take that as offense, because I know what the YMCA have done for me, and they don't really, their words can't hurt me because I know what the YMCA has done for me and I feel at home there, right? So why would I worry about them when I know that I have much greater things at the YMCA?
Well, for me, is that my mother and some of my peers at the YMCA had told me never be bothered to what people have told me, and I have told some of my school friends what I have done to me, and they say don't worry about those people who are trying to ridicule you.
But they have tried to ridicule you.
Yes, they have. But my friends, they always told them that that the YMCA has helped me grow.
All right. When we come back from break, we'll hear about what is happening very soon this weekend.
Yes.
This weekend that you are here to tell us about. But we'll take a break first and we'll hear what the YMCA and how you can support the effort, how you can support the young men that we have here in studios and all the efforts that has gone in. I really love the concept of maintaining a relationship rather than just looking at it like it's a kind of emergency room treatment. I think that fundamentally is a more effective approach. So I really want to congratulate you on that, Dr. Cuellar. And again, I have to say that I personally admire the approach of doing this work and not seeking the limelight while doing the work. And I'm not here to, I'm not saying that to criticize anybody. It's just to endorse a way that I think youths appreciate. If they think you're doing a thing to get self credentials, to get praise, the trust factor starts to become a problem. And it has its disadvantages because then they say the hen when no lay an egg. I say, well, listen, what they said, we might as well eat on Sunday. So, it's a balance you have to have.
Yes.
It's a balance you have to have because you have to get the support as well. So we'll come back. We'll hear about what the YMCA has planned for this weekend. Stick around. This is the WB Wake Morning Vibes.
In Belize.
right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes. It's Wednesday morning, 28 May 2025. And the YMCA is in the house as our special guest. The Young Men's Christian Association. Somebody made sure that I put it out. That's what that YMCA means. And so, yeah, we have to put that. It's a worldwide, it's an international organization. So this coming weekend, what is the special event that's taking place?
This weekend is a showcase of who we are, like you said, balancing being quiet and showing the public what we have learned. And how we do that, as I said with my sports background, is bring the pressure. So we're doing a car wash so the young people get to know how to serve and how to do a service for people, while we at the same time operate in teams and do something new. We have a drive-through car wash. You don't go out of your vehicle. And we guarantee you that we will get you in and out in 15 minutes. Guaranteed.
In and out 15 minutes?
That is correct.
Do you have to make a booking?
No, you don't. You can drive up, you can pre-buy, you can, we have QR codes designed by youths, past graduates. We have flyers out. You can pay online, you can get hard ticket, e-ticket.
Where is it going to happen?
It'll be at the YMCA, and it starts from 7:30 to 5. And the second challenge, Mose, is 100 vehicles in a day. So sign up. We want the challenge. The youths need to know how the procedures. So here, they had to learn the technical skills, and they don't even own cars in their family. And now they had to learn the procedures and consistency of producing in a job. So that's their job for the day, and they've been training. And they can tell you a little bit about that, because two of them lead stations.
Okay, so convince the car owners out there that this car wash is going to be done by expert hands.
Well, while we were practicing on the teachers' cars and the square cars, that we set up every station properly. So we go from the wash, that get rid of all the dirt, mud and everything. Then we use a foam cannon that get like studs and everything from the car, while the person who is using the foam cannon is put it on the vehicle. The people who are washing go right ahead and start to wash, right? But the person who got the foam cannon should never like go ahead of the people who are washing down, because if they go ahead, like all the studs will just dry out.
Yeah.
Then we got the rinse station. So that station is where you get rid of all the studs. So when you go into the dry station, the people there who are doing dry stations get rid of all the water droplets. And when they're done, they would go check around the cars in case you have any water dues or going down the side of the car or anything.
All right. So it's a strictly external cleaning.
Yes, sir.
Inside, no.
No, sir.
No finishing like that. But the external one look good.
Yes, sir.
All right. And what's the cost for the wash?
The cost for a wash is $20.
May I add? This is, we're asking you, you can do both. For you out there who like to support programs that we're talking about that help youths. First of all, show up, because the test of the time and doing it is a sense of accomplishment for them. We did a little dry run yesterday, and Mose, I will invite you for the open dry run, which is you can send two of your media people with vehicles and put them through so they see how these boys run.
When is this open?
This evening, 2 o'clock, send them 2 to 3.
All right.
Send 2 vehicles through, yours, a guest of yours, with one of your reporters to learn, anybody, 2 that represent your
I wish I could
or
use mine,
organize.
but my window is stuck. I can't get clean. My window is stuck. But
power wash you right through there.
But I'm sure we could figure that out. We'll try our best to get a team.
Yeah, because that's an opportunity, like you say, for you all to come to us and see what they do. Because when you see it, you'll go, wow, they're really learning how to behave professionally with the community. And for those who want to donate to the Y and maybe cannot make it, you can still go online and give $20. The entire funds is helping our youth program. They are fed every evening when they come. Everyone is fed. We don't talk about who's who and who comes from where and who needs more than who. It also helps to provide all the supplies that the youths use as well in the evening. They have at the Y, they have a computer room, free access to internet, to printing, and all supplies for high school projects. So that's a burden removed from them.
How is it? Is it by cohort that you become a part, or can somebody hear this program this morning and say, I think I would want my child to go there? How does it work?
Well, a parent can come in and get a sign-up letter. They fill it out and they bring it back, and then they get accepted to the Y.
As easy as that.
Do you have volunteers that help the program, Dr.
Yes, and so over the summer, all those who need to do community service, although it's called community service, come to the Y. It's one of the best community services. We're highly organized. So if we have, for example, which we're working on, a little coding program for youths in our neighborhood, then you won't have more than 12 students in a room, and you have an adult supervision. So those of you who have done a little bit of coding, who have done sports and like it, you don't have to be on the team. You come there, we help you learn. You do a week training on leadership and working with younger youths, which all of our youths have done too. And then you volunteer. So you get your full year's credit of community service in one summer. We will have right now we have the car wash flyers up on our website, on our Facebook page. Next week we'll have up the community service flyer and all the forms you can fill out to get your parents' consent. Please come. We have lived and thrived on volunteers just as quietly. So I appreciate all the high schools and junior college, UB, SJC, JC, and all the high schools who send their youths over to serve, as well as send youths over to join the program.
All right, and so I will give you both an opportunity to do a little bit of marketing and convincing to those car owners right there that are listening and watching. Please tell them with your most encouraging words why they need to come and get that vehicle cleaned by you guys.
Well, you car owners, please come. So please come, because when you come, your car will be freshly clean, brand new. Look like it's brand new, guaranteed.
Well, the reason why you should come is to give us a little challenge. We said we want to do 100 cars in a day. We have trained, and this is not the first time we have done the car wash program. We've done it for 2 years before, so we know what we're doing. We also did some training consistently to make sure we get the process down, and then we train the speed so we can have your car out in 50 minutes, guaranteed.
All right, so it's not just to clean the car, it's cleaning the car and helping these youths all at the same time. So you shouldn't get that car clean anywhere else but at the YMCA this coming Saturday.
That is correct.
All right, so then especially if you're going to agree and you want your thing look clean, get it blingers before you go. It's going to while just before you hit to Belmore Pond, you make that thing get the proper niceness. Again, well, thank you for sharing the information with us and sharing these youths with us this morning. To those who have listened and watched, you guys are very impressive, and we're very proud of the young men you're becoming.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a final break, come back and wrap the show for today. All right, we are out of time, so we've got to part ways at this point in time. WB continues tomorrow morning with a different host, but Anur Mohammed is going to be joining you. I return, if I have health and strength, on Monday morning. We know that this is the big agri weekend. We do have coverage coming your way on Sunday, so you can look forward to that. We got to acknowledge our team, Larry G at Creme Radio, Pat Cliff at XTV, The Glue, and our director this morning, Ms. Christy Flowers. Have a great Wednesday. As always, stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!
People get victimized, let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize.